Now, I was a little bit pessimistic about how my FPL team was looking in my transfer plans video, but things have improved after the Man United Wolves game. I scored 57 points and I'm up to 285k overall. Obviously, we've got 5 free transfers this week, and I certainly plan to use them. I'm going to talk you through what I plan to do in my Game Week 16 team selection. Alright then, here is how we did. 57 points, like I said, 285k overall. Not really a whole lot of talking points in my defence, apart from Mark Gahey. He was one of 3 just absolute saviours of my game week. His goal at the end of their fixture was just, I was very pleased with that. 8 points from him. Iliman Ndiaye, I was absolutely terrified about not owning Phil Foden. Obviously, Foden outscored Ndiaye this week, right? But I think 8 points and Foden got 12. It's not too bad, I think Iliman Ndiaye did enough in my team. Bruno Fernandes just absolutely excelling against Wolves. 2 goals and an assist for him. Wolves are they're just the team to target at the moment in the league, aren't they? They are looking pretty rubbish. So 2 goals and assists for Bruno. Saka with an assist and a yellow card. Elliot Anderson, my transfer in for game week 15. 4-pointer, obviously hit DEFCON in that game. Blanks across the board from my front 3. I had Haaland as my captain, obviously, who scored 4 points as well. I still think it's all right, isn't it? 57 points up to 285k overall. Obviously, the main change in that team is an 18-pointer from Bruno Fernandes. I was going into my transfer plans video. I was saying, in order to save my game week, I need Bruno Fernandes to deliver, and he certainly did. One thing I would also say is my rank, it was 400,000 overall, well in maybe even 500,000, like nearly 500,000 overall before the Man United Wolves game, and it's down now to 285k just from Bruno Fernandes' returns. So I think that goes to show, I know there's lots of engaged managers who own him in the game, but amongst managers around my rank, he's still not all that popular. Okay, so I wanted to quickly move on to what my team's looking like for game week 16, and I usually go position by, and we're going to do that in this team selection video, but what I'm going to do is just show you my team if I did nothing, because it sets the stall for, I think, what I need to do. I'm looking at 3 players in this starting 11 that I potentially want to get rid of, right? Malik Chow, I'm not sure where the clean sheets or points are coming from in the next few fixtures. Iliman Ndiaye is obviously off to AFCON. I really want to get Phil Foden into my team in the midfield. And then Mateta, can't say I have a whole lot of faith in him going forwards. His minutes are reducing and reducing with all the volume of fixtures they've got. He's playing Man City up next. I've got a cunning plan for maybe a forward or another midfielder that could replace him. The rest of my team I'm fairly happy with, but I think I could definitely see myself using 3, maybe 4 of my my 5 free transfers that have been allocated. But if I did nothing, that's what my team would look like. Before I get into the transfers and what I'm going to do with my team, I just want to quickly mention the FPL Cartel. We're straight off the exclusive weekly podcast that I do with my good mate FPL Tom. If you fancy a bit of that content involving both myself and FPL Tom, please do sign up to the FPL Cartel. Everything's managed in a Discord. We've got multiple different channels for different sort of topic areas, and both me and FPL Tom are in there all the time to give you advice and help with your FPL teams. We're also offering a 30-day free trial, which you can access using the link in the description below. So treat yourself for Christmas time, innit? But consider joining the FPL Cartel. All right, I mentioned that I probably want to get rid of Malik Chow this week, so I'm going to go through the defensive moves I'm going to make, and there are, just to summarise, probably 2 defenders that I'm considering. We'll look at the clean sheet odds in order to determine who we go for. Arsenal are top. I'm already tripled up on Arsenal. I think I'm pretty content with my Arsenal triple up. Raya, Timber, Saka. I could get Rice in and change things around, but I just think it's an unnecessary use of those 3 transfers. I'm closing my eyes then because I know what Declan Rice is going to do this weekend if I don't buy him. But I think I've got other things on my plate, really. I'm going to stick by them, so I can't buy an Arsenal defender. I'm done. Man City, they're the next best. 16, they've got, the joint worst clean sheet odds for the next 5. 17, it's 44. 18, it's 36. 19 is 39%. Liverpool are up there as well. I could potentially go for Virgil van Dijk, but I would have a little bit of a budget issue if I did that. Obviously, Newcastle, I'm going to get rid of Chow. We go down to Crystal Palace. I've got Gahey already, and to be honest, Game Week 16 is a week I want to avoid. And then we move on to Brentford and Chelsea, 2 teams who I'm relatively interested in as well. I'd look at maybe Nathan Collins or Chalobah from Chelsea. Those would be the two names. So I think we're down to a short list of 3, I reckon, just by looking at the clean sheet odds. A Man City defender, probably Nathan Collins from Brentford, and then my favourite Chelsea defender is probably Chalobah. I think, just based on the game at the moment, I'm looking at O'Reilly, right? 5.2 million, 4 attacking returns from 14 appearances, so in 6 clean sheets. So what? Add that together, that's 10 returns from 14 appearances this season, if you count clean sheets plus attacking returns. I think that's pretty decent. Crystal Palace away fixture next week's not great, or this week's not great, but then it's West Ham, Forest, Sunderland. Not bad, not bad. The worry you'd have about Man City is obviously the congestion of fixtures that they've got, right? Real Madrid tonight. I'm recording this video on Wednesday morning before I start work, so we'll see how they line up in Man City, see how many minutes he gets. Palace, Brentford, West Ham, it's 2 games a week, basically. But I feel like O'Reilly could almost play all of them, and I think Pep could think that too. I guess the rest could come against Brentford. I mean, O'Reilly has been favoured for 90 minutes since game week 10, and even before then, the only sort of rest he got when he established himself in the team was a loss, by the way. They lost the game against Villa in game week 9. And also, Real Madrid, they're in an interesting place at the moment. I can almost foresee it where Man City are ahead against Real Madrid to the point where Pep can make some early substitutions. I mean, I think that could be entirely possible. So, you know, we're all worried about Pep roulette, etc. And also, Pep has said in press conferences that O'Reilly, just to the nature of his age and stuff, he can recover more quickly than other Man City players. That obviously, I think that bodes pretty well as well. So I do think my transfer in will probably be Nico O'Reilly, right? I'm going to do Malik Chiel to Nico O'Reilly. But Nathan Collins of Brentford does excite me with the fixtures that they've got. And so does Chalobah of Chelsea. So O'Reilly's my preference at the moment, but obviously those 2 players are basically the same price as O'Reilly, so I could go for either of them as well. That's kind of my plans with my defence. If I did that, obviously I'd be on 4 free transfers and have 2.1 million in the bank. That 2.1 million in the bank at the moment is the perfect amount of money that I need to do Iliman Ndiaye to Phil Foden. Now, Phil Foden is just going up and up and up in price, isn't he? I'm in a luxury position where I don't actually need to buy him until he's finished the Real Madrid fixture. But I think as soon as that Real Madrid fixture is finished and I can see that Phil Foden has come through the game unscathed, I will be bringing him into my team. I think I got away with one last week. Ndiaye with his 8-pointer sort of made up for the difference of not having Phil Foden. But I think, yeah, this week is pretty clear I need to bring him into my team, isn't it? And I don't see his returns really letting up with the fixtures that he's got. Although I actually say that, but the Palace one is not. It's not an easy fixture, is it? They have been pretty solid defensively so far this season. Yeah, but Phil Foden is going to come in, right? That's pretty clear. I don't really need to think too much about that. He's the only midfielder I feel my team is really missing at the moment. So my midfield 4, as a result of doing that, will be Saka, Bruno Fernandes, Elliot Anderson, and obviously Phil Foden. At the moment, that would leave me with absolutely nothing in the bank. But you'll see when I talk about the forward transfer I'm going to make, doesn't really matter what happens in terms of Foden's price rises because I can afford him. But I do think I feel I've done the right thing to wait for this Real Madrid game to happen. You know, unless you were absolutely desperate for budget, there was just absolutely no way you could bring Phil Foden in otherwise, I would have done the same. I just always feel, unless it's a drastic situation with price changes, the information is usually always better. And I'm quite glad that I'm in a position where I can wait until he plays Real Madrid. And I think if you're in that position too, it's probably a bit late already because you'd have made the move already if you were going to make it early. I think you should have probably have done or do the same. So yeah, we've got 3 left, nothing in the bank, onto the forwards. And I look at the front line of my team. It had Haaland, Thiago, and Mateta. I think Haaland and Thiago are the 2 best forwards in the game at the moment. And I would make an argument that the best team in FPL is probably a 3-5-2 with Haaland and Thiago in it, right? Mateta, I think, is gone for me. They've got Shelbourne Irish team on Thursday. I was told off in the comments because I hadn't heard of Shelbourne before. Apologies that my Irish knowledge of my football knowledge from Ireland is not great. But yeah, I didn't really know about Shelbourne, but I think if there was ever a fixture where Mateta was going to be rested, especially with Man City coming at the weekend, it's that game, isn't it? I do think Palace are going to rotate in that one, and possibly next Thursday as well. But just in general, I feel like there's been a drop-off in Crystal Palace. They've got no Ismaila Sarr now. AFCON and injury have kept him out. Mateta's returns have dropped off. He's only really scored a penalty in the last few weeks, and even that had to be retaken because of the double touch rule. I just think Mateta is the one to go from my forward line at the moment. And the fixtures are not too bad. I mean, after Man City, they've got Leeds, Tottenham, Fulham, Newcastle's tough, and then Villa. You can see what happens as soon as I sell him, right? He probably scores against Man City as well. But I do think he's probably the one that could go. And for me, I really like the thought of going for Fulham assets. So there's two ways I could play this, right? I could use an extra transfer to bring Harry Wilson into the midfield and go 2 up front. Or, because I do think probably from open play, Harry Wilson's better than Raul Jimenez and probably in better form. But at the same time, I only have to use one transfer to bring in Raul Jimenez. Jimenez's place in the team is pretty damn secure, I would say, given that Muniz is injured at the moment. So I think for the next few games, Jimenez is a good option. And then also there's a nice swing between when Fulham's good fixture, well, next few fixtures end that are good, Everton's begin. So I could potentially do a move from like Raul Jimenez to Dewsbury Hall in my midfield in a few weeks' time. He's obviously the penalty taker for Fulham. His minutes are very safe. I think Fulham have looked good in recent games, at least from a goal-scoring point of view. And Burnley, Forest, West Ham, amongst 3 of the weakest teams in the league, I think they could do quite well in those games. I'm a little bit worried about not owning Harry Wilson, but given that I can buy Raul Jimenez for one move, I think it makes sense to bring him in, doesn't it? I can still, I guess, bring Harry Wilson in to have triple Fulham, but I don't want to use all of these 5 free transfers. I want to keep a couple in the bank just to be safe. So I think that's what my team is going to look like next week. We'll go 3-4-3, Raya, Timber, Anderson. I must admit, I'm still a little bit in between O'Reilly, Collins, and Chalobah. Saka, Bruno Fernandes, Anderson, and Foden locked in my midfield, I think, unless something happens to Foden. And then Haaland, Thiago, and Jimenez up front. Just to round off the video, this is what the team will look like in summary. All of the expected points data, by the way, that you see below the players in this team is provided to you by Fantasy Football Hub, including the AI rating and total predicted points in the top left there. There's a link to sign up to Fantasy Football Hub using my link in the description if you like what you see. And all of my sort of transfer plans, team selection videos of this data, like I said, all comes from Fantasy Football Hub. 65.1 predicted points, a 98% AI rating. The final decision, the final call is, do we captain Haaland or Saka? My good mate FPL Tom, who I do the cartel with, was suggesting that I think only twice this season there hasn't been a double-digit haul from a team that have played Wolves. And I think those have been 2 9-pointers, he was saying. So in every other game, there's been a player that scored 10 or more points versus Wolves. It is quite close, I'd say, on the captaincy. The expected points from Fantasy Football Hub favour Haaland. From Solio, a source that I use, favours Saka. And also, Crystal Palace, they're probably going to rest players against Shelbourne on Thursday. They're going to come to, they're going to come to that Man City game, I think, relatively fresh. And they're definitely a decent side, very much capable of beating, or at least getting a result against Man City. At the moment, I'm trusting in Erling Haaland, because the thing is, for me, with Saka, is I don't necessarily think I can consider him now just the out-and-out Arsenal talisman. You know what I mean? I feel like the returns are shared amongst the Arsenal team a little bit too much now. He might take penalties, to be fair, Saka, but I think he's also equally likely to give them away because he doesn't feel like taking them. And also, I had a vision when I was recording the Cartel podcast this morning that Saka, Arsenal win like 3 or 4-0, but Saka does absolutely nothing. Gyökeres scores a hat-trick and Saka gives him a penalty. I could see that happening. So right now, I'm on Haaland, but I might be tempted. I think it's Haaland or Saka, isn't it, as my captain, let's be honest. Let me know what you think I should do in the comments. All right, well, that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. If you did, please leave me a like rating. Like I said, let me know in the comments if I should captain Haaland or Saka and who your captain for this week is going to be. I do think it's another week where there is a genuine case not to captain Erling Haaland, given the quality of that Arsenal fixture. And if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it. Now we've hit 20,000 subscribers. I guess the next goal is to go for 25,000, isn't it? So if you can help me get to that, please do subscribe to the Golden Goal channel. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. This week, because of the 5 free transfers, I think I'm going to do an extra upload tomorrow to keep you going as well. So stick around for that.